Let's discuss the rising demand for space cooling in buildings. And let's do that with Giulia Conforto. Hi, Giulia.
Hi, Areti.
Now, you're participating in a very exciting project called CoolLIFE, which is focusing more or less on the rising demand for space cooling in buildings. Can you elaborate a little bit?
Of course. So CoolLIFE is a project of the LIFE program, of the clean energy transition part of the LIFE program, that aims at providing solutions and advising users on how to meet the rising demand for space cooling with, of course, a number of sustainable options. So it will develop a knowledge hub touching on technologies and user behaviors, policies and financing programs. It also will develop a tool, an open access user-friendly tool to estimate what the best options are in the region and what are the policies present at the moment of the project release in that region.
Now, when we talk about heating and cooling, yes, we do discuss behavior. That is true, the user behavior. It is quite important, but similarly important is space and process, right?
Well, you do, when you're talking about cooling, you can distinguish between space cooling and process cooling. So space cooling is what we refer to when we're talking about buildings. Air conditioning, for instance, radiators when it's space heating, ventilation. Process cooling is cooling used in industrial processes, so refrigeration of food, freezers, fridges. We're not focusing on that. We're focusing on space cooling.
Okay. And what are the technologies that you use, more or less, for the project?
Well, we do scan and provide an overview of all the available technologies that is spanning from passive technologies, so building installations, green walls, green roofs, integrating greens and urban greens, the use of water, so evaporation, cooling, internal shading curtains, blinds, automated blinding and shading, so that would be active cooling, which includes also air conditioning, heat pumps, and then user behaviors and lifestyle changes are some sort of precautions that are as simple as not opening the windows during the hottest time of the days, keeping them closed, closing the curtains and then opening the windows during the cooler times of the days, or not operating appliances that can create a lot of heat in a closed space during the warmest hours of the day and keeping them for the evening.
Yes, I would assume that this requires also a smart platform for the consumer to have access to all those services, right?
It's a lot of technology options and it's a lot of knowledge that we're gathering in one place. This is why we decided to structure the outcome of the project in these two areas. One is the knowledge hub and one is the open access tool.
Okay, and it's also quite important for the energy efficiency. And since we are at the EU Sustainable Energy Week and energy efficiency is quite the topic here, I would say that services like the one you're providing, projects like yours, are quite important for the energy efficiency. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. Actually, energy efficiency is the biggest, cheapest, and most effective solution that we have to the current energy crisis. Because even before talking about which energy sources we can use to meet the rising energy demand and decrease as much as possible our emissions, we have to talk about the energy that we shouldn't use in the first place. So sufficiency and sobriety. Cutting off all the use of the energy that we can before talking about how to transition from one energy mix to the other. And this is one of the important elements that we include in the project. Then once you have reduced the energy demand as much as possible, you can talk about how to reduce the energy demand of the single appliances, increasing the efficiency from a regular air conditioning system to a bidirectional heat pump, for instance. And then you can talk about how to reduce the emissions of the electricity that is supplying this device. So how to move away from fossil fuels towards a balanced mix of renewable energies.
Yes, important aspects. And another one that I find quite important is how best to inform the public about that. And I think that this is also one of your objectives as a project, right? Which are the other ones
Yes,
also?
absolutely. So first of all, we aim at informing users about the options that are available and recommending, encouraging the adoption of some solutions that might be underrated. So for instance, all the passive solutions that actually have been around for centuries, because if you think back in the days, insulation, shading, the use of plants and water were very common in urban spaces. And now we start having these heat islands that are heating up because of all the concrete and that are lacking vegetation. Then we aim at tailor our recommendations on the region that is selected by the user. So you have to imagine a user that accesses the platform, selects his own region or city, sees what are the technologies available, what are the technologies the most used in that area, discovers other solutions, sees what the recommendations are for that region, also in terms of existing policies and funding programs that are insisting on that region. And then this recommendation is aimed to the last two objectives of our project, that are reducing the energy consumptions and helping to achieve the energy and climate objectives at the EU level.
Excellent. Giulia, thank you very much for this, I think, quite interesting conversation.
It was a pleasure to be with you.
And thank you for watching us. Don't forget to like and subscribe.